Welcome to C++ programming. We're going to be starting on our first program called Hello World. In this first project, what we're going to learn to do is to open and save a C++ project. We're going to learn how to insert comments, include a library, use the standard namespace, insert the main function, and print text to the screen. We're going to do the traditional first project. You take computer classes in college, your first program will usually be the Hello World assignment. Well, we're no different. We're going to do a Hello World assignment. You print out Hello World to the screen. One thing we're also going to work with in this class is flowcharts. Flowcharting helps you plan your projects. You'll spend a lot less time in the course if you plan out your projects on paper. Now this may seem like a useless exercise. A lot of people like to use stencils and stuff like that, but you can just do a rough drawing in your head with this. But we're going to introduce flowcharts, and I think you're going to like this. It'll make your life a lot easier. Well, this is the flowchart for the program we're going to be making. We're basically going to have a command that runs the program, and we're going to process a command that prints Hello World to the screen, and then we're going to end the program. Those are the three processes we're going to build with this project. Not very complicated. In Lab 1, we're going to do our first C++ project. We're going to comment, and then we're going to save the project. Okay, C++ files are called projects. So we're going to open a project. It's already been created for us, and it's called Hello. So once you've opened up C++, we're going to go File, Open. Go for Open a Project. Then you're going to go hunt for your file. Open up Hello World. Then you set Hello World VC Proj. Click Open. All C++ files end with the CPP as an extension. This is why you want to find your you want to enable your extensions on your computer, okay? A good programmer always comments his or her programs. And the reason is that a lot of times you come back to a program and it's somebody else's programming, you want to know what they did, or maybe it was something you did and you can't remember why you put this particular code in there. A comment will help you remember. You may think it's silly, but it really helps you out a lot, saves you a lot of time. It's part of the code that the computer ignores. You insert comments into the computer codes themselves. Now, how do you do a comment? You just started out with a couple of slashes in your code, so that's how the computer knows that's a comment. So this is what a comment looks like. It has a couple slashes, then you write your code. So why did you put a comment in their programs? To make the code easier to understand, right? Of course you're right. The first comment I'm going to put in my code is Hello World by Miss Hadley. Two slashes to tell the computer it's a comment. Remember, one of the first rules of computers is to save your files regularly. And this is especially important with a file such as CPP or C++. If you don't save it regularly, when your computer crashes, you lose all that work you worked so hard on. Usually you would just click this button right here to save it. I'm going to go File, Save. So now, of course, you're going to do a quick check of your work as you're finished with Lab 1. So it should be called Hello CCP, but I got a Hello 2 because it's my second Hello file, of course. and you just put hello world by your name, not Miss Hadley. It should turn green. If you have the 2 slashes there, it'll turn green on you, and that's what it's supposed to do. Welcome to Lab 2. In Lab 2, you're going to learn about comments and libraries, and you're going to include a library in your program. And you're also going to include a namespace, so you can tell the computer what namespace you want to use. A major component of any computer programming program, of course, is a command. What is a command? You know what a command is. It's an instruction you give your computer. And we're going to use commands in all of our programs, and here's some list of commands that we're using in this project. Just 4 sweet little short commands. Actually 3 of them, because we're not going to do a sin. Now normally when you use commenting, you don't put it in front of each command. You put it in front of a group of commands. But for learning purposes, what we're going to be doing is we're putting comments in front of each command, so you know what's going on, what you're doing. So that's what we're doing. So it'll help you improve your program when you do this. Help you figure out where a bug is. So now I'm going to add another comment. I'm going to enter a couple times, // I'm going to say include the IOStream library. Okay, included in this particular lesson, we have a little cheater file called the starter code text file here. It's just a standard text file. It has little commands in it that you're going to just copy and paste into the program instead of writing it. An IOStream library is a basic library that's built into C++. And they have in and out commands because basically it's an input-output library. See out, in, C out, C in, and it's IOStream. So it's just a very common library. If you're going to use a command from the library, you need to identify the library to your computer. The way to do that is you do #include. That hint gives your computer a hint that you're going to include some library file. So now we're going to cheat. We're going to go click our starter code text. And we're going to copy this #include code right here. So I go Control-C to copy, or you can right-click and do a copy if you'd rather. I come back here to my code, click Enter, and Control-V, or you can right-click Paste. So what's the library I'm going to include? Remember, it's IOStream, right? So I'll just put IOStream in here. Okay, an IOStream. See the word, see IO, in, out, input, output. Anytime you have any kind of an input-output command, you're going to use an IOStream library. See, in, you put it in the computer. Out, the computer puts it out. In, let's say you're going to pull something from an external source, put into your computer. Output, music, you want to play a tune. You want to print something. Those are all output commands. Okay, one thing you can do is you can group a bunch of commands by using a namespace. But you don't have to do it with it. You don't have to group namespaces. You can just do something like this. If you didn't want to use a namespace, you could type it this way. But we're going to make it a little easier. We're just going to use a namespace. So a benefit of using a namespace is you don't have to put std : before a lot of your commands. So you just give it just group it with a namespace. So to tell your computer using a namespace, you got to put the word using in there. Tells the computer which namespace you're using. So the namespace we're using is called standard. So using namespace std. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my cheater code here, and I'm going to copy this code right here. Of course, right click copy. I come back here I enter a couple times. I'm going to put in my comment. Use the standard namespace. I'm going to click enter. Now I'm going to right click paste that code I just copied here. Now since I'm done with lab 2, I'm going to save my file. I just click my button here. And I'm going to check this out with what the instructions tell me to do. So I make sure it has all this in. Hello World by you, include the IOStream library, include IOStream library, use the standard namespace, use the standard namespace. And it has all that. So you're ready to go on to lab 3. In lab 3, what we're going to do is we're just going to finish off our Hello World program. We're going to print Hello World to the screen. Now that we've got our computer all set up, we're ready to put in our codes. Computers, nothing's going to happen unless you have a main function in your C++ program. It says everything else is set up. The main function of your program is what the computer runs. And, you know, it's called the main loop. See, it says main. It starts with a curly bracket and ends with a curly bracket. Nothing's going to work after that last curly bracket. So everything you're going to tell the computer to do has to come before this last curly bracket. Okay, all the commands in the function, you consider this like a container, like a box. You know, a box for your program. So inside these curly braces is where your code goes. So I'm going to click enter a couple times. And I'm going to go void main. Of course, now I need to have my brackets, my curly braces. Now I'm ready to enter code. Once again, if I send information to the computer as input, if the computer sends information to me as output. So we're going to make the computer print Hello World to the screen. So our first command is going to be a count command. C out, print out. What are we going to do? What kind of out we're doing? Hello World. That's what we're going to tell our computer to tell us. We're going to print it out to the screen. Now I'm going to add my comment, print text to the screen. Now I'm going to go to my cheater text here and grab my coot command. Right there, Control C for copy. Come back to my program, enter, right click paste. Now what I want to do, see right between these quotation marks here? I'm going to put my little command here. Don't want to erase those quotation marks. If it's red, if it isn't red, it's dead, right? So you want to put in here, Hello World. Or I could put in here, Hello Class. How about that? You can be as fancy as you want. It's your program, right? Now we're done with lab 3, so we can save our file. Click save. And then we're going to check our file with the instructions. Make sure everything here matches the instructions. Everything here. And you're pretty much ready for lab 4. In lab 4, we're going to learn about compilers and compiling. We're going to turn our C++ code into machine code so that the computer can run our program. Okay, C++ is made for humans. Machine code is made for machines. You notice all the ones and zeros? Basically, that means the switch is on or off, the light is on or off, and that's all that a computer does. It just determines, you know, it's either the light's on or off, and that's all the code it has. So you need a compiler to transfer this into this. So you're going to convert your C++ code into machine code by compiling it. Compiling is the conversion process. A compiler is the software that does the compiling. The way we compile our program is we run a debugger. Well, what's a bug? A bug is an error in your code. The first error in the computer was a moth that had gotten in the computer, and ever since then they've called computer errors bugs. So you can blame the bug, right? Lots of reasons that you could have a bug in your code. You could forget a semicolon. I've done that. I'm sure you'll do it several times too. You can have a misspelling. That's pretty common in this class. Okay. You can accidentally put in an uppercase thing where you needed a lowercase thing. Or once again, you can forget a quotation mark here. You can tell that it's not red. You know, if it's not red, it's dead. It won't work. You know, debugging's okay. If you have error in your code, that's how you learn. If you make mistakes, you learn how to correct them, and then when other people submit work to you, you're the big boss, right? Or you work in a team, you'll be able to spot other people's code because you've corrected it in your own. So we're going to compile our code to make sure that we did everything correctly. So I'm going to click debug, see if there is debug, and I'm going to start debugging. I'm going to say yes. It takes a little bit. Now if you didn't have the black screen flash up here and you got an error code, you need to check your file against their file. And here's Hello World by Miss Hadley and Hello World by your name. It looks fine. Double check everything. Make sure that everything's the same. One thing people do is they forget they paste over one of these little greater than or less than things. They don't put in the right code. There's something they might write their void main code wrong here. They might forget one of the curly brackets. Or it might be one of these isn't green and it doesn't understand what you're trying to do. Once you've fixed all the errors in your code, you're ready to start without debugging. Just click debug, start without debugging. Last thing we're going to add is a system pause command. That just pauses the screen so you can read it. Doesn't flash too fast in front of you. So we're just going to put system pause. Now look at this. System, parentheses, and quotation marks around pause. And what's at the end? Semicolon, right? So now I'm going to click at the end of end line and click a couple times. Now I got to put in my command system and put my parentheses in there. Now something goes inside that parentheses, doesn't it? So I have to put my quotation marks because if it isn't red, it's what? Dead. Inside that, put caps lock on and put pause. And now I'm going to put a semicolon at the end. So I click debug, start debugging. There you go. Hello world, press any key to continue. So now that you're done, you're going to check your program against the instructions. Make sure that you've got everything the way it's supposed to. Now you added this system thing. You want to make sure that your system pause is before the curly bracket, that you've got quotation marks around pause, that you have a semicolon at the end of your command. Okay, make sure it all looks like this. Just check it line by line. I like to go backwards when I check. It's unnatural to read backwards, so you kind of pick up things easier that way. Every time a program is successfully debugged, you create an exe file. So you can use the exe file to run your version without C++. So now I'm going to navigate to my C++ folder. I'm going to go to my quarter 2 classes. Open up C++. And I'll go to Hello World. And I'm going to go to Debug. See the Debug folder here? There's my Hello World executable file. If I click that, open. There's Hello World. Press any key to continue, and it closes out. That's what it should do. And that's the file you send to Miss Hadley. But to send it to Miss Hadley, you got to right-click it. Zip. Click Add to Hello World, the next to last one. Then you're ready to go. See, it created this zip folder. And you're all done. And that's the folder you send to Miss Hadley.